This is every single fight to make after UFC 311. We're going to be starting off with the pound for pound number one king, Islam Makhachev, destroy Renato Moicano in one round. Dana White said, man, Dana White said Sarukian is not getting that rematch. He fucked up. It's messed up, man. It is low key messed up. But, Dana White said it. So let's be honest, Sarukian's probably not going to get that rematch for a while. He's going to have to work his way back up. And I'm looking at guys at lightweight. People are chucking out Taporia. People are chucking out, Gaethje. They're chucking out all sorts of names, man. But let's be honest. Dana White is going to do what is going to make him the most money. Hunter's going to do what's going to make him the most money, and they're gonna do what the fans are they want. You know what the fans want, and what the fans want is Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira too. I'm sorry, man. I'm a huge Charles Oliveira fan. I'm a huge diehard Charles Oliveira fan. But this is not a good rematch to make. But I know it's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. I'm not gonna lie. And of course I want Charles to get that belt back. But Islam, man, I don't see him losing to anybody at lightweight right now, at least. The most dangerous guy for Islam Makhachev is Ilya Taporia, but Taporia is not going to be fighting him anytime soon. He's going to be rematching Volk. Not the best rematch either, but I do think it is winnable for Charles Oliveira. I think it's going to be very difficult though, and I do believe that Islam Makhachev is just unstoppable at lightweight right now. But this is the rematch that is most probable. This is the most likely rematch when you're looking at lightweight, the top five, who deserves it most. Charles almost beat Armin, just beat Michael Chandler, destroyed him for 5 rounds straight, beat Dariush bad before that. If there was another fight to make, they would maybe rematch Charles and Armin. Armin was calling for it. He asked for a 5 round main event with Charles and run it back. I think that would be a great fight as well. But they do. Islam said he wants to be back June, July. Charles Oliveira fought in November. It's a couple months off. He's going to want to come back around that time as well, if not a bit earlier. But around that time is probably when this fight would be booked, around June. Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev 2. They'll probably chuck it in Abu Dhabi, let's be honest. But it's the most likely fight for Islam at lightweight right now, unless he wants to fight Taporia. But Taporia is going to be rematching Volk. So yeah, this is the fight to make with Islam, man. But we'll move on to Renato Moicano. He tried his best. It was a difficult task, tough task to fight Islam. But the fight to make with Renato, it makes sense, man. Paddy Pimblett, the beef between these two, man. I saw a reaction of Paddy Pimblett, and he was shaming Moicano for tapping out in round one, tapping immediately. But like, come on, Paddy, man. I think just book this. The amount of beef, the presser will be amazing. You could put this as a fight night main event, and people would love it. But I think you put this on a card like 314 or 315, man. Book it. Just book this fight. This is a great one. I think this one is gonna get the fans going. It's going to get the fans hyped, and everybody's going to love this fight for sure. For sure. Money Moicano versus Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. Come on, just book it. But there's not much to be said about this. They've just been beefing. It's obvious. It's the money fight to make. It's like one of the best money fights at lightweight to make, and it's going to get a lot of people excited. I mean, it's going to get a bunch of people excited. So that's the fight to make for Moicano. There's really nothing else there. Just book this fight, man. Come on, book it, Dana. But we're going to move on to Merab Dvalishvili. Man, this guy shocked the entire world the other night. Shocked the entire world. Destroyed Nurmagomedov. And he honestly can do whatever he wants at this point. He is going to become one of the best bantamweights, if not already one of the best bantamweights of all time. His resume in his past 5 fights are absolutely ridiculous. Nurmagomedov, Sean O'Malley, Piotr Yan, Jose Aldo. These are just insane names. Henry Cejudo. I'm forgetting Henry Cejudo, man. Those 5 names, that is a crazy resume for Merab. Of course he didn't finish any of the fights, but they were all dominant decisions. But, I know we can already know what they're going to make, man. It's going to be Merab versus Sean O'Malley, too. It's the only thing that they can do for Merab, unless he wants to move up and fight Topuria, which will never happen. He'll never fight Topuria. Or the only other option is if Pantoja moves up and fights him, but that's up to Pantoja, seriously. So at bantamweight, the only person you can really look towards is Sean O'Malley. Obviously Piotr Yan. A lot of people want to see Piotr Yan get that rematch, but I'm really not trying to see Piotr Yan get 50-45 again. It's just not really something that's entertaining. I think Piotr Yan needs another fight. before fighting Merab again. And Sean O'Malley is one of the only guys at bantamweight who actually defended his belt at least one time in the past few years, after Aljo, went moved up to featherweight. So just book this one, rematch it. I think Merab will win again, but Sean, of course, Dana White loves Sean O'Malley, so it just makes sense. Of course, they're gonna want Sean to get this rematch and hopefully take the belt from Merab. That's what they want, at least. So I think this is the fight to make in like June, July, maybe even August if you want. But we'll move on to Yuri Prohaska, who absolutely destroyed Jamal Hill, man. This dude's only kryptonite is Alex Pereira. It doesn't make sense. His only kryptonite is Alex Pereira. He's undefeated in the UFC, loses to Alex Pereira, then destroys Rakic, then loses to Alex Pereira, and now just destroyed Jamal Hill. So, the only other guy that I kind of want to see Yuri fight, and that I think is a possible fight in the future, is Magomed Ankalaev. Whether Magomed Ankalaev beats Alex Pereira or loses to Alex Pereira, I think Yuri should fight him either way. I think Yuri would deserve that fight either way, and I think it'd be a fun fight. Obviously, we got Ankalaev versus what's his name, Pereira, coming up 313. Excuse me, coming up 313. Pereira versus Ankalaev. It's going to be a good fight. I think Pereira could take that fight, but it is going to be a close one, and it is going to be a very, very difficult fight to predict. But obviously, Pereira's on a roll, man. So if Ankalaev beats Pereira, I think Yuri can get that shot. And if Ankalaev loses, I think Yuri fights Ankalaev, and if he beats Ankalaev, he gets that title shot again. Obviously, he called out for the Pereira rematch for the third time. I don't think anybody wants to see that. Let's calm down, Yuri. Let's give you a little break, man. Let's give you a little break in Poatan. But we'll move on to the next. Umar Nurmagomedov came up short against Merab. Crushed Khabib's soul, but it is what it is. He'll bounce back. We saw Islam. He had a loss and then went on a huge win streak. Umar's still young. He's got plenty of time to get better. And I think a perfect fight for him to come back to is Piotr Yan, man. If he wants to get back in that title picture, both these guys want to get back to the title shot, of course. This is a perfect fight. This is a perfect title eliminator between these two. Piotr Yan, a lot of people think he deserves to fight Merab, but one more fight. He beat Song Yadong, and then he just beat, what's his name? Oh, you guys know who I'm talking about. He just beat the other guy, ranked number 5. Oh, ranked number 5. Anyway, I think Piotr Yan just needs one more, man. He needs one more, and then he deserves that title shot. And Umar, this is a good fight for him. This is a good matchup for him, and they're gonna want to get him back as soon as possible. He takes some time off, get better, practice, train up, come back, fight a guy in Piotr Yan who is a very good athlete. But this would be a close fight for sure. Nonetheless, though, either of these guys, whoever wins this fight, will get another shot, another crack at the title, I would assume. But if Umar wins, maybe he'll fight somebody else and then fight Merab. But, Umar just got boosted to the title shot too soon. He just lacks experience. That's all it is, honestly. Lacks experience. Once he gets experience, I think he beats Merab, seriously. It was very close, gassed out. Merab's gas tank is absolutely insane. But that's besides the point. We are going to move on to the next fight. We got Jailton Almeida, destroyed Spivak. He destroyed Spivak. This dude is so good at ground and pound and submissions at heavyweight, and he's jacked at heavyweight. He called somebody out, and I think it's the perfect fight to make, man. Cyril Gane versus Jailton Almeida. Feed Cyril Gane to Jailton Almeida. I'm hoping Jailton Almeida subs him in and around. That would be absolute perfection. This is the kind of fight night main event that we need. Jailton Almeida versus Cyril Gane fight night. That's a perfect fight night main event, man. That's a perfect fight night main event. Winner of that gets a shot at the title or gets a shot at the interim belt, whichever one's around. Come on, John Jones, lock in, gang. Whichever one's around, they get a shot at that, or they get a shot at Tom Aspinall to get a shot at the title. You guys get the point. But either one of these guys, obviously Cyril Gane beat Volkov. It was a robbery. Volkov knows that. Cyril Gane even freaking knows that. Dana White knows that. The entirety of the MMA community knows Cyril Gane robbed Volkov of that win. So they're still considering Volkov for a title eliminator or a title shot potentially. So these two here, Jailton Almeida, Cyril Gane, that would be a title eliminator. That would be a perfect match to make, in the next 4 or 5 months. But we will move on to Jamal Hill, who got absolutely destroyed by Yuri. Let's freaking go, Yuri. Nonetheless, though, Jamal Hill, he was slugging it out. Respect to Jamal Hill. He was throwing hands. But I'm sorry, man. We got to feed him to Khalil Roundtree. This would be an absolute banger of a fight. This would be an absolute banger of a fight. These guys would be punching each other like they owe each other money. Like they owe each other money. I think this would be such a good fight. This would be a fight of the night for sure. I believe fight of the night. You could book this one as a main event, or you could book it. You could book a main event of a fight night, or even just put it on a pay per view of the main card pay per view. This would be a great fight. I think this is equal odds here. Honestly, I think this would be a pick 'em. Seriously, this is very close. Maybe Khalil will be a bit of a favorite just because Jamal's coming off of two bad knockout losses. Jamal just got flatlined. He got flatlined before against Pereira, but Jamal's not cooked, man. His striking is still good. Pereira and Yuri both have kind of weird movement, and Khalil's a bit more predictable. So this would be an interesting fight. This would be an interesting fight. I don't know who would take it, but I know this fight would end in a finish, and it would be a banger. But we will move on to the final fight that I believe needs to be made after. This is an important fight to be made with the rankings, man. Reynor the Ritter, I've been calling it. I've been asking for it. I've been saying it. Reynor the Ritter is going to have an amazing 2025, but only if he breaks into the rankings against my boy Jack Hermanson. All right, man, where the fuck is the Joker at? It's been almost a year. He fought last February against Joe Pyfer and just disappeared off the face of the earth. Haven't heard anything about Jack Hermanson. Don't know what he's doing. Don't know what he's doing, man. So bring this dude back. Make him fight Reynor de Ritter. We need our middleweight freaking gatekeeper back. We need Jack Hermanson back. And put him up against Reynor de Ritter. That's a perfect tism for tism matchup, man. It's a perfect matchup. You got Reynor de Ritter, very, very awkward style. Just submitted Kevin Holland in a round. Very dominant submission. Easy work for Reynor de Ritter. But he's fighting a guy in Jack Hermanson. If he fights a guy in Jack Hermanson, it's going to be interesting because Jack Hermanson is pretty good on the ground. His wrestling game is good. Will he be able to stuff the takedowns of Reynor de Ritter? That would be an interesting thing to see. But this is a good matchup in 2025 to make for sure to get Reynor de Ritter a potential shot at middleweight rankings. And Jack Hermanson has not been active. He should be getting called up for a fight soon. Reynor de Ritter said he's ready to go for another fight as soon as possible, as soon as the UFC is ready to give it to him. So book this one, man. Book this one. Doesn't need to be a fight night main event. All right, we're not trying to do that Joe Pyfer, Jack Hermanson stuff, but just with Reynor de Ritter versus Jack Hermanson. Let's put this on a fight night, but you could put it a bit lower on a fight night, or you could put it on a main. You could put it on a pay-per-view, just low on the pay-per-view, man. And this would be a good fight. This would be a good fight. I don't know who would take it. Both these guys got awkward styles, so I think it would just be a great stylistic fight. But that is the entirety of my most important fights to be making and booking after UFC 311. If you guys did enjoy, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and drop your comments down below which fight you guys want to see scheduled after UFC 311. And I'll catch you boys in the next one. See you.